seems that we accidentally lost each other. Let me get everybody back up and running here. Where is our channel? Are we
It
running?
was that. Yep.
Are
We're live.
Okay, cool. We're live.
It was those
I'm not seeing it
MREs.
on-
They clogged us up a bit.
Yeah, is that where we halted? Did we halt on the MREs?
Yeah, I hope so. Did you guys hear about poop MREs?
Yeah, did we hear about the poop MREs?
Come on,
I'm not
guys.
seeing.
No, you didn't. Poop.
Oh.
MREs.
Yeah, no, we were talking about the numbers. They actually mean something. So the first half are for
MRE?
for yeah, poop MREs. Yeah, the first half actually stock you up, the second half clean you up. That's kind of how the whole numbers things work. But what the story behind the whole thing is that we developed an entire group of us, 12 of us that were across the entire world that played D&D. So we had not only Americans, we had Canadians, we had Danish, and we had Australians that all came together to play. And we found out that it was a kind of a unification thing because
That's so sick.
Yeah, and not to mention the ranking structure was weird too because it was like I was a lonely like sergeant. We had a major in the Australian Air Force. We had some like sergeant major in the Navy or in the Army, and I was like, what?
Don't F up. Don't F up.
Yeah, it's like don't mess up, and then he's the one like throwing cookies at people, and you're like, all right,
sir.
fine. Is this really how we're doing this? But yeah, no, our when it comes to what D&D can do for you to help with anxiety, can help with so many different things, team building, creative critical thinking, all that stuff. But for what it did for me was it allowed me to escape like shit that I was in at the time and connect with like-minded people very easily, where for many, many years I could not talk to anybody just off the street and be able to connect. And I still can't do that till this day, unless it has to do with this fantastic game that we all love. So because I'm that introverted person, but you throw me in an organization like Gen Con or a social group like this, and I can talk all day long. You throw me at like, I don't know, you take me to a friend of mine, he'll invite me over for like a football game, and I'll be the dude sitting on the couch watching football. Everybody else is talking, and I'm like, I don't know what to talk about with anybody else here. So, or I throw out the feeler,
Yeah, exactly. It's a blessing and a curse.
You accidentally drop a D20 on the floor, and someone
no. Oh no!
Oh no! What happened?
My D20?
No.
Dang it!
All right.
Okay.
This isn't the crowd. This isn't the crowd. Time to curl back up on my couch and be good to life. But yeah, no, that's just how I've been my entire life, and so I found an outlet that made me comfortable standing and talking with people and connecting with people. This was the outlet for me. So, nerds unite, right? That's kind of how it works for me. So honestly, let's get back. So you said you were originally from Virginia and then moved out to LA. So is that something that you felt you had to do to continue the voice acting career? Or something that you just was like, man, I really want to go to LA?
I have had this dream and this want to live in LA my whole life.
Okay.
And it's also the place to be if you're going to be doing face acting, which is, of course, something I still wish to do. Right. And not singularly just voice acting. But the thing is living in LA is not even just like I'm going here because I want to pay $1 million for gas, but more of the people that you can rub elbows with. It's for networking. It's for being around others. It's for being able to actually go to events. Because I didn't go to a single red carpet event.
I didn't even know you
in Northern Virginia.
A red carpet event in Virginia. Like, I still don't think you can go to a red carpet.
I don't freaking know. Not that I would know of.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I just found out this year that in just like 30 minutes away from me, there's an improv comedy club that does a D&D show every couple weeks. And I was like, I'm so going to this. But I had no idea that that was even a thing.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine. And then following people on TikTok, you see them going to all these, red carpet events and, you know, show premieres. Like when they did, like I watched a couple people, they got to go walk through where they did all of the
Rings
stuff
of
for
Power.
Rings of Power.
Yeah.
And I almost cried because it just looked so beautiful. And I was like, that's my only pitch this week
Yeah.
for Rings of Power is we did start last week the One Ring RPG live play on Sunday nights. So
That's sick.
by Free League Game or Free League Publishing. That is a fun system. If you just want to role play and you don't want a ton of combat and you want to just get into the nitty gritty of the social aspects of games, it's such a fun system because it's actually built so you don't even need a game master because you're always rolling against yourself. So,
Is it kind of like Call of Cthulhu? Where
kind of,
you
yeah.
have to roll higher than or within the margin that you were
Right.
given?
So what it is like, so you have like, let's say because they've got different stats. So you've got your wit stats, your strength stats, and your heart stat. And, ooh, hello. An anonymous person just gifted us the portrait in one shot. Thank you, anonymous person. So Vaughn will be created.
Whoever you are, I don't trust you, but I love you for what you've done.
And so we once again will create a second adventurer to join the tavern. Also, if you are on our Discord, just a heads up, you can go into our tavern and you can give a name because we are still in the naming of the tavern. We haven't found a name we really like. Some people like Driftwood, the Driftwood Inn. I'm kind of sold on it, but I want to see what other people have ideas for. So back to my quick pitch on Freely Gaming because they are amazing. Because not only did they make these amazing games, because they also do things like Alien, Mutant Year Zero, I think is another one. It's really cool. It's like kind of reminds me of take Guardians of the Galaxy type game only, because even though it's all mutants, but it's like you're running around as a mutantized raccoon. So I'm like, sweet, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
But it's cool because you have a TN, which is what you have to beat, and then you have skills underneath that, and based on your race is what your TN is. So let's say you have 2 skill points in awe, and that's a wit skill. So you have to beat your wit with your skill. And if you don't beat your wit, then you don't accomplish your job. So it's always working against you instead of working against the environment or working against something else. The only downfall with that is with combat. So combat, there's actual stats that you would go against. But other than combat, it's all going against yourself, which I thought was really cool. Nifty. So because it's really battling within you, right? It's your own skills to accomplish something. So, but yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. We did a Hobbit's adventure last week, which was fantastic. They went and they stole a old map of the Shire from a museum, and they almost got attacked by a little terrier. And that was the entire adventure. And we did 3 hours of laughing and hystericalness, and it was great.
That's ridiculous.
But then when they found at the end that it is going to be, there's little runes on it that are elvish in nature, and they don't have an elf in their party, so now they're going to go look for the elves. Only 2 of those characters are actually part of the true story, and then all the other people are bringing in their characters this week, which are amazing artist who is doing the tavern characters, also did all of our characters for the One Ring. She's also one of the players this time, so it's a beautiful little adventure that we're starting. So my only pitch for the evening for my own show. But let's get back to you. So, because I mean, this is the part where I know a lot of my friends have asked, and I'm going to tell them left and right about the idea that, you should at least take one acting class if you're even interested in voice acting, because some of his questions that he sent me, and I'm going to read off these off of my phone. Like, what are the steps you took of how you got to where you are now? It seems like part of it is the networking side of things, where you would have to be in an area where entertainment is a big deal. I think the internet helps if you really do have a face for things and you can get your publicity out that way. But I'm sure it makes it easier to be in an atmosphere like LA.
So, voice acting being what it is, you can jump on Discord, you can go on Twitter, they have open call and stuff like that. But it still comes down to the fact of, for one, you need to shell out at least, like, of course, there's probably cheaper mics than the ones I'm thinking of. But for me, you can use your iPhone or whatever your latest technological phone is. But if you're trying to do it more consistently and it's something you really want to dive into, I'd say first try the auditions, try the acting class. But if you're like, yeah, no, I have a shot at this.
I really want to do this.
I really want to do this, and you believe in yourself, and other people believe in you too. That's a big thing. If they like your performance and not just you liking your performance, then yeah, shell out, like, I think it's $200-ish, $300, maybe. If you're going for my setup, like $400 to $500, and that'll get you your little brain just went gone, but your mic, your processor, and then all the hookup and software for you to work through that. And it's a ton of fun. It's hard work, because especially during and after COVID, a lot of studios switch to people processing and doing a lot of their own work, or just taking their own rough spun stuff and sending it to them, and they take from it what they will. And so voice acting has gotten actually a little bit more difficult in the starting phase than it was. But whenever you get a chance to go into the studio, gosh, it's so nice, because you go in, you do what you're good at, and you get out. You don't have to do anything beyond that. And then also,
literally, if you're my job,
yeah, like I hate the tech side of it. But the bigger problem is, if you're looking to go like absolute professional voice acting, a good demo reel is looking at like $1,000. And that's for one reel. That's just for like 2 minutes at max. It should not honestly be over a minute and a half. 2 minutes is getting too far, because most people just listen to the first 10 to 20 seconds.
Just want to, and that's going to a professional studio to get it done.
That's going to a professional studio. Don't go to Craigslist. Go to like a professional studio. It should be $1,000 minimum, and that's for like a video game reel, or a commercial reel, or a narration reel, or an audiobook reel. Like, that's already $4,000 you're looking at. And yeah, it's, some places do deals where if you're getting multiple reels done, they'll do like, oh, you can get 4 done for $2,000 or $2,500. Yeah, and I'm like, what?
You're like, and now I got to get a full-time job just to do
it's like
this thing.
Now you're wondering why people are starving actors.
Right? Yeah, because it's expensive.
Who needs to eat?
Yeah. So it sounds like it's definitely not something you want to just jump into. You want to do some research. You want to prepare for it. It's not. And it sounds like there's some serious equipment that needs to go into it as well. So,
and then another side of it is, if you want to start doing audio stuff, jump on TikTok. Like, that's where most people are going to look for talent, which is so
crazy,
sad, and frustrating. But because my TikTok game is trash.
Ours too. We're slowly picking up our social media after this year. One of our players has kind of came behind me to finally, help me out with getting all this stuff out there, because when you're running streams and you're running this and you're doing the social media and you're doing, and it's all one person or it's 2 people, it gets really strainful. So, and
then a family, and then a job, and then I bet.
So, but let's see, what are some other questions that were asked? How might this one came up again? How might one train your voice to do different things like mimicking another person, animal, or sound?
So one of the things, okay, with many, oh, I'm trying to remember the word, but people that pretend to sound like other people.
A word for it?
Impressions.
Oh, impression.
Impressionists.
Yeah.
So a lot of what that comes down to is, like I was talking about earlier, vocal timing. So how someone speaks is very interesting and lets you get a view into who they are and who you're trying to be. And so, like, you've got different presidents that have certain like vocal patterns.
They've got the patterns, and they've got the stutters, and they've got the tone, and you instantly went into like radio voice actor, right? Radio man there for a moment. That was great.
It's all about just, for me, it's a lot of that just vocal timing. That's how I can tell you're a different person. That's how I can tell if you're lying. That's how I can tell like certain things. It all goes into your voice. Right. And some people say I have a fake laugh and they can read it. And I'm like, oh, shoot. Because I don't want people to know when I'm fake laughing. I'm like,
right. Yeah, it's not a good one. You don't want that.
I don't want those secrets getting out. But no. And then make your voice higher or lower. That's something you've got to find. In a lot of acting, like one of my first teachers was, acting is looking in the mirror for hours. Because you're just with yourself figuring out what your body and what your voice can do. Right. Wink, wink. But like, seriously, it's how high can I go before it gets really weird? And then how low can I go before I start to get cracky? And you just go from your topmost to your lowest most and just play with the sounds in between.
With those tones.
And even if it's just your voice and bring your voice higher, that still is a different person. And bringing your voice lower, that's a different person. And your friends and those that know you would know that this is not your normal talking voice. Now, animals are tough, because if you're trying to make like the mating call of a northwestern Mashiba, and you're like, I don't fucking know. Like, that's another thing that just comes down to playing with yourself, kids, especially on episode 69. No, it's
literally, that's what I should have named the, instead of Voices of the World, it should have been Playing with Your Voice.
Playing with your voice. Yeah. Just saying, playing with your voice here with Joshua Blake. One of the ways, and for the people that know how to do accents, or you've started to get an accent down, what I recommend to everyone is try and sing a song with it, because that's how you can nail an accent. Because you're going through different vocal ranges, and you've got to keep that same voice with it.
Right.
So if I'm trying to sing the Pledge of Allegiance, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the and like just going through it and trying to keep that. And sometimes you'll break and laugh and have to jump back into it, especially for the ones that actual have like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I, A, E, D. Oh, damn it. And just keeping with character and going through any song you like or know. Like, if it's WAP, it's WAP. If it's Wonderwall, do it in whatever voice that is. Oh, maybe that's what I'll start doing. That's my TikTok.
That's what you should do. You should pick a voice and then sing a song that's not in that voice.
In a bucket, in a mop. I'm not going to continue that.
No, you definitely should do that on TikTok. That'd be hilarious. Even just picking like the most famous songs and then be like, and I'm doing this as an orc today. You know? Or maybe you can do a poll on Instagram, like what voice should I use to sing this song, and then you just swap it over. But I found out last week by Alec that you have to take off the There's actual ways to take the TikTok sign off of your images, because Instagram and other stuff like that is actually fighting against that algorithm now. And I was like, huh, did not know that.
Yep, it sucks, but
yeah. But thankfully, if you record outside of TikTok, then you don't have to worry about it. You just put it wherever you want first.
Or you record it on TikTok, download the video, and then put that on Instagram and leave your draft in TikTok and pop that out there.
Yep. Before it has little TikTok symbols on it and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, there's the ways. There's always a way, kids. There's always a way.
Steal, do crime.
Please don't. No, don't do that.
Do crime. Riot.
But yeah, we're at our hour mark, so this kind of kicks us into our final episode, or final portion of the episode, and that's what we like to call roll for inspiration. And these are just things that kind of give us a little bit of a glimpse of each person with the same exact questions. So my first question for you is, what book, TV show, or movie that is your favorite? And you can pick one of each, or you can pick only one. It's up to you.
I would say book series is one that I haven't read in a little while, and I only got to like book 5 or 6. But it was the Temeraire series. It is an older series written by Naomi Novik, and it is about the Napoleonic era and Napoleonic War. That's hilarious, because it is a historical fantasy where you've got your usual naval force of the Napoleonic War, you've got your army, the land forces, and then you've also got your air force, where it's an air force of dragons. And they keep to the same like historical markers in the Napoleonic War. They keep to like, how did Napoleon get across this ocean so quickly? How did he get his forces across? By dragons and like an almond shaped dragon turtles. There we go. Yeah, no, it's a really good series. The first book is His Majesty's Dragon. Really good. Really worth the read.
His Majesty's.
Yeah. I read it when I was in sophomore year, I think, of high school, and I had to have a dictionary next to me because there are so many words I did not know or understood.
It happens. Was this, and then kind of a caveat to that, is there any specific book that you find as inspiration for your games?
Not really.
That could be a hard question, though, because, I mean, you could pull from anything.
Yeah, like, it kind of comes back to the point of, like, in childhood, what things have you taken from your parents, and you're just not sure. Like, you might come up with an idea, and it probably came from a book, but...
Like I said, it's one of those things where you just got to kind of ask the question. If it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit. So.
Yeah, no, I don't really have any book in particular that I pull from drastically. Neither video game or anime, just...
It seems that you have a large variety of that genre, though, because just by describing Vaughn and those different connections you made between, Castlevania and a couple other things that you'd mentioned, I was like, oh, you're pulling from all over the place, which is
because it helps for me. It helps with like similes and metaphors to help people understand what image I'm trying to create for them.
Yep, exactly. So if, let's say you are having a writer's block, how do you break that? Like, what do you use to harness your inspiration?
So my problem is most time my writer's block comes from burnout. Okay. It comes from just being in it for too long and trying to push myself to a point that I'm like, I don't know. I can't keep doing this.
So your inspiration comes from stepping away.
Yeah.
It's you have to step.
I have this beautiful space in my 15 by 15 foot room, a nice little walkway through all of my crap. And I'll just lay down on the floor and stare at the ceiling and just kind of meditate and just breathe. Just be like, step away from it. You don't need to look at it. Watch a show, do whatever you need, step away, then come back. And another thing I'll tell people, which is so unhealthy, so I don't recommend it, is stay up late, beyond your bedtime, and write, and just keep writing. And like maybe get a blank piece of paper or a Google Doc and just be writing about whatever it is you're trying to work through. And by 4 a.m., you'll have something in there, and come back to it the next day, because your brain goes from that of just trashing certain ideas to just, I am drunk, I will put anything on this paper that will make me happy or help me go to bed. And so you'll just write to a certain point, you'll go to bed, wake up the next morning, read through all of the vomit, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's actually really great, cool. That's great. And you find the pieces of it that are just wonderful. Yeah.
Good point. Don't be too unhealthy, but yeah.
Very unhealthy. Do it, kids. Do crime.
So, third question.
Mm-hmm.
TTRPG superstar or somebody in the industry that you look up to?
I mean, besides the obvious being Matthew Mercer.
Yeah.
I
mean, if that's who you got, that's who you got. But I'm curious to
within the D&D world in voice acting, because he's not just a DM. Even before he was doing D&D stuff, he's in like every anime, every video game imaginable. Like the ones you grew up with. I'm pretty sure he did something in Samurai Warrior, one of my favorite games on the PS2 growing up. Yeah. He's done so much. But Robin Williams, early, late, middle, Robin Williams, all of it. He's in and out of the stage and in and out of the camera. I've also read bad stuff about him, but also no one can be perfect 100% of the time. And he tried to help a lot of people. He gave a lot of good advice to a lot of people. And he was just an incredible voice actor, an amazing actor, and just someone that could slip into whatever it is in a second's notice. And if that's not an actor, I don't know what is. He was one of my first.
He could find a role and just instantly take over that.
Yeah. It didn't matter if it was like, oh yeah, we're going to have you be a guy, but he's just lost his kids in this like divorce. But instead, he's going to dress up as their nanny in a fake costume and watch over them.
Go.
Yeah, sure. Let's sign up. Like, Robin, what an incredible guy.
Yep. So this is my only one that I use, and I brought this on because I'm curious to see who other people would think would be fun to join the show. So if you could recommend somebody in your community, who would you suggest I reach out to as a guest for the show?
Easily. Have you had Swole Initiative on yet?
I have not yet.
He's good friend. I was the one that got him into D&D.
But oh wow.
Yeah.
And I know he's also here in Virginia as well. So
yeah,
he's supposed to get coffee with him sometime. I'd love to hit the gym with him too, truthfully. So
I've hit the gym with him a few times. It is a wild ride.
Yeah, I mean I've done that with people too, and they're like, "How do you just work out for 2 hours straight?" And I was like, "I don't know, it's fun."
Same. So I have a body for endurance, not that for like dudes squatting like 500 pounds. I'm like, dude, put it down.
No,
let it go.
Good. I don't need to do my 1 rep max anymore. I'll be 35 next week, so I'm good. I'll pass.
I don't want to know what his 1 rep max looks like. Like that was him doing 5 squats.
Yeah, I ran into him last year at Gen Con.
Oh, cool.
And but him and I have been talking on Instagram and other things like that for probably a year before that. So, but yeah, no, he's an interesting fellow. He's super busy. So it's just getting time. It's just getting time for him and his wife to come on the show is the biggest problem. So
yep,
we're working on it. But I will definitely plug the fact that you suggested it as well to help out with that. So, number one practical tip for a new game master.
don't give up. Like, that's the biggest thing. You're going to get so disheartened by a lot of the games you run, by some of the players that don't really appreciate the hours you're putting in. And just don't give up, and don't look higher than where you're at. Or even don't look at other places. I wouldn't say higher. That's not the right word. Don't look at others and be like, that's the DM I should be. Don't look at Matthew Mercer. Don't look at me. Don't look at this gorgeous man. Like, don't look at any of us. Look at yourself and find out what you want to do and what you want to run. And if the players that you're with don't like it, find others that are. And also, don't be a dick. Like, that's, of course, like rule one. Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Don't give up.
And then don't give up.
No, I like it. And then what would you say is the number one practical tip for a player, a brand new player?
Similar. Don't be a dick. Don't give up. And then a new player, take it easy. Like, all you really need to know is that character sheet. Like, I've run so many. I love new players. I personally prefer new players because they're not bogged down or riddled with a lot of the ideas and outside notions of D&D. Like, if I put what we know as a beholder on the table, they have no idea what it is, and I love that.
You don't have to worry about.
I love. This is so effed up. Children, cover your ears. I love the D&D virgins because it's such an amazing time of their first time for everything. They're seeing it all.
Moment, I think, is when they realize that they can do anything.
Yeah.
You go from the video game mentality of like, what can I do, to wait, I can do anything. It's like, you're welcome to try to do anything.
Yes, exactly. Actually, this is a really good tip for new players. Don't try and be the main character. You're not at the table to be the only person. You're not there to be the anime protagonist. You're not there to be good in every single stat. You're there at a table with other people, and the fun of D&D is being there with those other people. So if you're trying
especially if you're doing it with friends, like,
yeah,
you're doing it as an ad hoc, it can be a little weird because everybody's kind of getting that feel for the table itself.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do it with an open mind, ad hocs can be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
You meet a lot of new people very quickly. Everybody connects instantly because you have to. You can't not be connected in a D&D game, and especially when they're throwing something at you. So
exactly,
it happens. And then my final question for you is, what's next? What's the next step in NPC Voices that we can look forward to in the next, let's say, 6 months to a year?
Freak. That's a wonderful question. Let me tell you. Running for president.
I'll vote for you.
Don't. Y'all gonna have to get real cool with a lot of stuff real quick. No, I'm hoping by 2023 to at least be in one named video game or one named show. Something that I can proudly put my name to. Something I would proudly put on my socials and be like, hey, I did this thing. Go check it out. It's so cool. That's my goal.
And when you do that, let me know, because I will blast it all over social media for you.
Heck yeah. Blast it all over the place.
That's epic. Yeah, I did. I got that opportunity this year through a company known as GUI Cube, because they let me write a adventure module. So I got to write a 60-page adventure module for their D&D campaign, and that was the moment in D&D when I went, I did this. Like, I saw the character, and it was weird though, because I just wrote it, and then I handed it off to the company, and then they started putting pictures behind it, and it started to become real. And I went, wow, this is new. This is
so
something.
Cool.
And then so I can understand that feel, because when you open up a video game or a show that you're in, and in the credit scene it's going to say voiced by Joshua Drake, and that's going to be a huge moment for you, and I can't wait for you to have that. So hopefully voiced, maybe, you won't even have voiced at all. It'll just say Joshua Drake and then dots and then the actor or the character you're playing. So
yeah, dude, that'd be wild.
It sounds like voice acting is not the only plan for the future. You want to also do real, I wouldn't say real acting, but hey,
man,
whatever you got to do,
trying to pay the bills here in LA. I'm just
pay the bills, right?
Make the money, do crime.
But no, first off, to our anonymous donor, thank you very much. While we're finishing up the show, I'm going to create our Google Doc for this week's episode. If you were on here last week, you got a Google Doc link to last week's episode, and inside today, I will be dropping the brand new Agron Storm Song picture. And then once I get our artist to check out this episode, we'll be dropping Vaughn. And does Vaughn have a last name? I forget.
So I will text it into the Twitch chat. Vaughn Gerard.
Vaughn Gerard, that's right. All right, and then anybody with the link, copy this link. And inside of our thing here. So just a reminder, save that Google Drive link, because if you don't save that Google Drive link, you will not be able to get a hold of that character. And if you haven't yet already, come over to our Discord where we announce when those characters drop, and then you can hop into your Google Drive and grab that character for you, because somebody thankfully donated generously to create your character. And if you have not seen the artwork that Brina does, she is an amazing artist that has done all of our artwork for Plots in Darkenhaven, all of our artwork for The One Ring, and now she's also doing all of our artwork for our guests. And I like your idea. So you will most likely be in our raffle for at the end of the year. I think maybe we'll do either if we can pull it off, we'll do a New Year's Eve type weekend special where we'll have 6 guests with the character that they brought to the table that were created, that will be put in a hat, and then we'll draw from that. If we have more than 6, then we'll see who comes. If we only have 6, then those will be the 6 that'll be here. So hopefully. But I like the idea, and I think we're going to continue to roll with that. And I'd love to have an adventure, a holiday adventure with amazing people that have been on this show, because I am nothing special. I just bring the special to everybody, and that's the goal of my job. So I bring amazing people onto the show and sit here and badger them for an hour and a half. But our hour and a half is over. Thank you, everybody who has been here the entire time. Hope you do save that Google link. Next week, we have another wonderful guest. Because this is the thing I did not remember to do, which was pull up all this information beforehand. But I do like to tell people who our guest is for the next week. This is a special guest too. This is somebody that I've been working on getting on here for a while. I'm honored to have him on our show because I actually look up to this man. So we are going to have Brandon Perkins on the show next week. So for people who don't know who Brandon Perkins is, if you've ever seen the live gameplay Realmsmith, he plays Sterling from the Into the Mist live play from their Barovia series, as well as he also plays a character over on Sirenscape's Cyberpunk Red series. He's also an accomplished an accomplished author. So we're going to talk to him about all of the above. We're going to see what crazy character he brings to the tavern next week, and we're looking to see what inspirations he can give our community. So until then, I hope you all come hang out with us on Sunday as we continue our series in the One Ring. And until then, we'll see you guys all next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful night.